the NFL may launch its own streaming service. I'm honestly surprised that the NFL, Major League Baseball, and NHL, I could see having a harder time getting this to work.
NHL does have a streaming service, I think, or has some kind of contract.
I guess I feel like financially, because hockey players make so much less than the other.
But it's an international sport,
yes.
So it streams in Canada and like Russia. They got cut off from it. Like they played in Scandinavia. It's American football is specific to America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even rugby to a certain extent, like, which is kind of physically similar in some respects, you might say. It is totally a different game. But, like, at least that gets played in England and Australia. And you know what I mean? Like, this is such an America thing. No one cares about this but Americans.
And they hate, and people in other countries hate our football because we call it football.
Right. Well, and like, so it makes a lot of money for us, but it doesn't make as much money globally, is my argument, as other sports do.
So it says the National Football League is developing its own streaming. According to the Athletic. NFL officials reportedly showed off a service tentative called NFL Plus. One of these people needs to stand up and come up with a name other than just adding plus in the front of everything.
It's bad.
Amazon.
When I read that, I was like, is it going to be connected to Disney Plus? Is there a relationship? Like, you can get Disney Plus and also then you own all of American football, and that's how Disney Plus is like driving people to their streaming service?
My mind was boggled when I found out that the NFL was a nonprofit.
Wait, what?
Oh,
that like I was like it was one of those few times like I get stuff wrong fairly regularly, but I'm a child and I'm not going to admit it. I had to admit it when I found this out to this guy. I was arguing like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Because it's like a governing agency of the sports. Yeah. The teams themselves can make money and they can have their own separate 501c3 charities, but the governing agency is not considered a profit-making entity.
So I had to apologize to a gentleman who I used to manage a gas station, and he would come in every day because he got free coffee, and he'd sit there and me and him would chit-chat about this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, we were talking about the NFL one day. I don't even remember what the reason was, and he mentioned that it's a nonprofit. I'm like, no, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and I was wrong. So, see, I can admit when I'm wrong. It does happen,
Just only to other men.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I found a makeup tutorial how to make myself look like a man, and I need to tape down my breasts. Let's go.
Then you'll respect us. That's what we have to do to get respect in this workplace.
Exactly.
I'm totally just kidding.
She's not kidding.
Am I not?
I don't know.
I mean,
my feelings are not hurt.
Well, and to be fair, I'm the one who sent you this story, so you obviously do respect some parts of our workplace contributions.
I do. So it says the Athletic reports the platform likely won't be ready until NFL team owners meet again in May. At that point, a vote would decide whether the NFL moves forward with the project, potentially complicating the rollout of a subscription service in the state of the NFL's various media deals. This would be hard because you can't watch just any NFL game. It's usually local to your where you live, right? I mean, I guess you could watch it with a VPN.
I guess if you have a streaming service. No, I mean, I assume if you have a streaming service, if you pay for all of it, you pay for everything in the league. So that might be nice for sports fans who have lots of football affiliations.
That like other teams.
See how I'm struggling with this?
Yeah. So it says in 2021, the NFL and Verizon extended their long-standing marketing and technology partnership, but did so without agreeing on new terms related to mobile streaming. Up until 2018, the carrier had exclusive rights to that content. One analyst, The Athletic, suggested that the league could use NFL Plus as a way to leverage a better deal from either Verizon or another mobile carrier. It kind of reminds me like the WWE had their own network, the WWE Network, which they eventually sold to Peacock. Mm-hmm. But they had that for years, long before the streaming wars had really gotten underway, when there was a streaming service by every company. So they had to build their own infrastructure there and make that happen. So it says, there was a comment down here that I liked. It says, I hope they don't have blackouts on this service when the NFL doesn't do blackouts now. NFL games typically don't have issues with attendance, so they don't really need blackouts to try and drive people to the games. So like if you don't sell out so it says, I'd be willing to bet that this will cost as much, if not more, than current Red Zone package through Verizon. And I imagine this will still black out in-market games, even though you would be paying for the service. If they can make this truly available to anyone, regardless of carrier and regardless of location, without needing a VPN to watch any game that is going on, then I will pay for this. So that's what they're saying. Like if I can just say, pick your team, and then start whatever game, it's like, and it brings you to a waiting queue, like new game is this day, here's the last season. And then they put like past seasons, kind of like WWE on the WWE network had like all their past episodes of Raw up to a certain point, and then back through like all their category of home movies and everything. So if you got every NFL endorsed like documentary, and you got all of the seasons going back however far they can manage from every team, that would be something I could imagine, the average person who used to watch ESPN but hates it now because of how annoyingly they don't talk about sports half the time. I could see this in all of these leagues being something that would be an enormous undertaking as far as actually putting together and building the infrastructure for, technology and content wise, but would absolutely probably make them a lot of money in the long run. So I don't know. I'm imagining that neither of you would really care much about this, considering I don't really hear either of you talk about sports that much, but
Yay, sports.
I'm not super into football, but I do understand where like this could be something. I also wonder too, like, if you had a sibling or a dad and you're like, I want to get you a gift for the year, I'm going to pay for your NFL subscription service. Like, I could see reasons to be aware of this. I'm not a particular football follower.
What was that voice?
I hate to admit it, but it also makes me wonder, like, if they can have National Football League Plus, are they going to do College Football League Plus, or is ESPN going to hold on to that?
I think
it gets
ESPN
huge
will,
ratings.
They get huge ratings.
And in that sense, too, like, I'm more likely, I think, as you know, my theory is that women don't actually ever pay for streaming services, or very, very rarely. And I feel like I'm unlikely to pay for NFL Plus.
Yes, I'm guessing that if you chose one,
of all
it wouldn't
the
be
things, I'm sort of thinking that's low on the list.
Yes.
But again, like I said, like maybe that's a cool thing to, pay for your younger brother to have, or stuff like that. Like I could see this being a commodity worth having, especially if you can have access to like older games or whatever.
So we've got, we're going to move on. We've got Ray Fisher wants Warner Brothers to apologize after Justice League wins an Oscar. Technically, they didn't win like a regular Oscar. They won fan favorite category.
Ray Fisher?
Ray Fisher plays Cyborg and had a falling out. I'll give you the short story.
Okay.
He had a falling out with Warner Brothers because of when
He's in the Justice League.
He's in the Justice League movie. And he got a lot of his stuff got cut out of the final film, of the final cut of the film, and there was accusations of racism and backroom problems with various like executives like Walter Hamada and Jeff Johns, and also that Joss Whedon treated him poorly. Of course, everyone said Joss Whedon treated them poorly.
Maybe he just treats people poorly.
And it says that nobody. So basically, what happened was he started going like on like he would get really vocal about how much he was annoyed. Like he's like, I want an investigation into this done about Warner Brothers. And then of course it comes back with Warner Brothers saying like, we've investigated ourselves and we found we did nothing wrong. And he started like doing all these tweets calling out various executives, kind of what I would imagine killing his career in the future, because who's going to want to hire a guy when they know all the dirty laundry is going to get aired out just because you didn't get the final product, you didn't get more screen time in the final product, which he then did once the Snyder Cut got released and the original version of the film got finished. The 4-hour version, he has like the largest storyline in the whole movie. So it is true that his character was essentially sacrificed for the studio to make a shorter movie. So he really hates Warner Brothers. And he puts here in this tweet, he says, in honor of the historic recognition of Zack Snyder's Justice League, allow me to say from the bottom of my heart that Walter Hamada owes an apology to the participants of the Justice League investigation. And then he puts A greater than E. What that means is accountability.
Those are Elon Musk's kids, right?
Yes, basically. That's his abbreviation for accountability is more important than entertainment, which is what every person who works 45 to 50 to 60 hours a week wants to hear from the actors who make extremely large amounts of money in these things, is to be virtue signaled about. So he did not endear himself with a lot of people. The Snyderverse fans, of course, like him a lot from what I remember, just because he's a very big proponent of Zack Snyder's version of that movie. But it says it's safe to say higher-ups at Warner Brothers would like Justice League to go away by now. It was their poor decision-making that led to the disappointing Joss Whedon theatrical cut, while the continual pressure from fans that resulted resulted in the vastly improved Zack Snyder's Justice League, his version of the film, that premiered on HBO Max last year. Made them a lot more money, too, I'm sure. In February, Fisher claimed that Hamada attempted to interfere in the investigation of Warner Brothers about the claims that he made, and that he prevented him from doing, and though he prevented him from doing so, he alleges that he was due to appear in the upcoming The Flash, saying that Warner Brothers executives stepped in to remove Fisher from the movie due to the ongoing Justice League controversy that he is himself drumming up. So he's kind of controversied himself out of work in a way. I mean, I can't hate on the dude for standing up for what he believes in. I think it's a little bit like he's hurting his own career by doing that. It sucks that that's the way things are, but that's what happens when you know, executives don't want this stuff in the public eye. They want it kept private and behind scenes, and you need to show a lot of times that you can be a team player, because it's not just you that's affected. It's all the people involved in the production. But you know, he has a good argument too. If what he says is true, and I can't say whether it is or it isn't, if he was mistreated, I guess, you know, most actors when they're young just put up with it. And then maybe they can call it out later once they've made more money or they're more prominent, but he's refused to do that. So it says, whatever happens in the future, at least the Gargantuan Snyder cut is now available for us all to see. I just thought that this was interesting because it just won't go away. He literally can't, Warner Brothers is going to be dealing with him forever. He is going to keep bringing it up. Every time a new movie comes up, he's going to appear out of nowhere on Twitter and say, remember me, I have a grievance to air here.
Yeah.
And the bad news does not go away, because we now get into Ezra Miller, who is the star of the upcoming Flash movie, and he was the horribly he runs in the most he runs like a person who's never run his entire life when he runs as the Flash in the movie. Miracle. He runs as if he's got weights on his arms. He doesn't run like a human being. Ezra Miller is a very, very unique individual. That's
what I have heard.
That is my diplomatic way of saying that. They are not they're not your traditional.
Yes, Ezra Miller is a user of the pronouns they, them, which, like,
I'm going to do my best.
I'm not going to stereotype anything, but it seems like this guy, I read this article beforehand. I know you're about to read it to the audience, but, like, this person does not seem like
needs to avoid bars. That's what he needs to do.
Yes, this person seems to have issues with other people.
Yes. He well, maybe it's not that. Maybe just bars set him off. Because from everything I've seen, the one common denominator is
being
watering
around,
hole.
Yeah, alcohol and also other people,
Yes.
which they don't give a comment on if he was considered to be, like, drunk, if he got breathalyzed at the scene or anything like that.
A wise man once said, "At your highest moment, that's when the devil comes for you." It was true last night at the Academy Awards, and it is also true night. It is also true last night in Hawaii, where the winner of the Oscar for most cheerworthy moment, undeserved in my humble opinion.
Cheerworthy moment?
That was one of the 2 Twitter-based awards that they did, where they did fan favorite movie of the year, and then most cheerworthy moment was like scenes. There was like 5 scenes picked from various movies over the years. Neo dodging bullets in The Matrix, Avengers Assemble in Endgame, and then they had like people on Twitter voted for them.
What did he do?
He was the one they won for most cheerworthy moment, where Barry runs into the Speed Force for the first time in the Justice League movie. Shouldn't have won. It was not actually the most cheerworthy movie, but the reason that the Snyder cut
I don't even know what that is. How could that be the most cheerworthy? Anyways.
So he wins this award, this Twitter-based award, and Ezra Miller was arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment. I don't know why he wasn't arrested for assault, but do you know any reason why it would have been for disorderly conduct and not for? We'll get into it. We'll see.
I'll give you.
Per authorities, the star of The Flash and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald was removed from the karaoke bar where Miller was allegedly yelling obscenities and became agitated when people began singing karaoke
at the karaoke bar.
So, what I found, for me personally, as somebody who does not participate in karaoke and may find himself uncomfortable in the presence of those performing karaoke, I found that a strong way to avoid that problem is to simply not go to karaoke bars.
Wait. You mean that if you don't like karaoke and it actively makes you angry, you don't go to karaoke bars?
That is my bulletproof solution to not going through
are a genius.
Karaoke bar anger management.
Okay, so he I'll let you read more of it, but like the reason I don't think it's assault is because he's yelling and he is being aggressive, but he is not
never
making
actually laid
physical
hands on- okay.
contact with anyone.
The other time he did, the time before that, it says he was removed from the he was removed from the karaoke bar after yelling obscenities and became agitated when people began singing karaoke at the karaoke bar. Police say Miller refused numerous requests from the bar owner to, quote, calm down. He allegedly grabbed the microphone from a 20. Oh, they. See, I even
You just corrected
auto-corrected.
yourself.
I auto-corrected.
And I was like, oh,
because I was like, spelling
I
mistake.
was like, Brett nailed it. Nope.
Nope.
No, there at one point when I was reading this through, there's a quote where the pronoun they is used, and I was like, who's they?
Yeah.
And then I had to Google, oh, Miller uses they pronoun.
Yes. So I apologize again. Do not come for me. I meant,
I mean, who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
if so, I will not do so at a karaoke bar. So it says they allegedly grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman who was mid-song, and they later lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts. Doesn't seem like this. High on my list of things not to do at a karaoke bar, even if I don't want to be there, is to stay as far away from the line of dart fire as possible. But again, that's just me. Miller again, the star of several DC films, including the much anticipated and long delayed Flash, made their bail. $500 bail only. That's it.
Because it's disorderly conduct.
$500 bail.
If it was assault, I think it'd be higher. But
Okay. So in 2020, and then they just want to bring you back to this. Variety reported that Ezra Miller appears in a video in which they choke a woman in a bar in Reykjavik. I always pronounced it with a B. I'm so glad it's not. I thought it was Reykjavik, but it's Reykjavik. The 7-second video of Miller grabbing the girl by the throat and throwing her to the ground went viral. Though there were few repercussions, according to reports, Miller allegedly became frustrated by a group of eager fans who were quite pushy when they escalated. And again, my response when people are being pushy from my many fans, who are always breaking down the door to see me, is to avoid.
It's a constant problem here.
Yes, it is. What I do is I avoid grabbing them by the neck and throwing them on the floor.
Yeah, the thing is, like, this grabbing someone by the neck is a pretty intense escalation,
Yes.
right? And it's not a natural reflex, right? As far as I know. Unless you do it often. Like, he didn't put up his arm to block them, from what it sounds like. He didn't push them. Like, pushing someone away to get more space might have been a more normal reaction. Like, to grab, I mean, I assume a girl who is smaller than him by the throat is like a very aggressive escalation of a situation.
Yes. So this is a recurring problem. Again, I think you should stay out of bars. I think that would help him.
But again, they're not reporting like if it was influenced by alcohol or if it's like
maybe it's the sight of multiple bottles lying next
or
to
like
each other.
I'm wondering if it's like loud and crowded, if it's
Yeah.
like a weird kind of overstimulation, like stress response.
Totally
not that
possible.
it justifies it, but like they're not giving a lot of details other than the fact that it happened both at bars. Like if he is intoxicated when this is happening.
More recently and less controversially, Miller suggested that members of the KKK kill themselves. This is a message for the how do you know how to pronounce that city's name? Belleville? Beulaville, chapter of the North Carolina KKK. Miller said in an Instagram video, if y'all want to die, I suggest killing yourselves. I am surprised at the restraint, he said, that he only directed that at one chapter.
He says something weird. He says like, otherwise keep doing exactly what you're doing right now. And you know what I'm talking about. And then, we'll do it for you.
I was going to cover this eventually when this first happened, and I'm just like, too political, too stupid.
Yeah, but it's like there's obviously something specific going on. Like, is he from North Carolina?
I have no idea. I just know that that was very nice of him to not paint every member of that organization with the same brush, and he only directed it at one chapter.
Well, again, like that's why I think the reporting is kind of weird. Like he's just members of the KKK killed themselves. Like no, he made a specific threat to people he believes are in the KKK in a specific location, which means that there's like again something else going on here.
Yeah.
And I just think that like we're not getting a full picture of who Ezra Miller is from these reports.
He had a couple of really great episodes of the show Royal Pains back in the mid 2000s.
I also love Royal Pains.
Yes, he played the son of his family. He was a wealthy kid. His dad,
he's hemophilic or something?
Yeah, he's got I
thought he looked familiar. I kept looking at this guy being like, oh, I loved that character.
There's a
Best of times.
very good episode where his dad goes through drug withdrawal and like the second episode he's ever in, played by Andrew McCarthy, like a really good episode. So he had it all going for him then, and he's clearly worked his way up to film level, but he acts bizarre, and that is a weird virtue signal, and the behavior in the bar is
like there's something going on, and I feel like we're not getting an accurate picture of.
Could be. I mean,
like when I was reading about the pronouns, there was a quote from Ezra Miller saying, I don't identify with anything. Like, I don't identify as man. I don't identify as a woman. I identify as human. Like, and again, like, I'm not trying to, I am not well versed in the understanding of gender psychology, but like, coupled with some of this more erratic behavior, like, I think we are not getting a full depiction of Ezra Miller.
Well, we can only hope that he gets some help. If it is a problem, if these instances do equal out to some type of chaos in his life, I can only hope that the dude gets that they get some help. That would be my hope.
I think you can still be a dude if you are a gender ambiguous person.
Yes, yeah, okay. All right, we got one more. The uncancelable J.K. Rowling is back. Attends Fantastic Beasts premiere ahead after the Harry Potter reunion diss. This is what I was worried, or what I was wondering about. I was like, they don't include her in the 20th anniversary, but she's invited to the movie premiere. And frankly, as much as I defend her for being super unafraid to speak her mind about certain issues, the fact that she threw Johnny Depp to the wolves and got him off this movie, but then she skates by unscathed, bothers me.
Yeah.
And I have stood up for her whenever we talk about her otherwise. I think that she has the right to... I agree with some of her opinions. I don't agree with everything she says.
Whenever we get the chance, we should talk about the Johnny Depp stuff, because it is such a fascinating study.
We did a video on it where...
Well, not when
I got started talking about it, and I realized it's impossible to do because it's there's so much to it that one video would never cover it.
We should have a whole Johnny Depp episode.
I've found that there's a lot of YouTubers that became like Johnny Depp channels covering him.
Well, and I think it really is a interesting study in kind of the way J.K. Rowling is, like, in the way public perception influences everything.
Yep.
I kind of don't care that she's at the premiere.
Normal people don't care. Normal people
it makes sense. Like, why wouldn't she be there?
Normal people that don't live their lives on Twitter don't care that she is a feminist of a certain variety. They don't care what her beliefs are on gender identity. They don't care what her beliefs are on any of those issues. They just care that she wrote really great books that they loved growing up, and they care that they're still going to be getting products from her, that are based off her creations for decades to come. Whether they're taking their kids to Harry Potter or to the Wizarding World at Universal, whether they're buying their kids Harry Potter Halloween costumes, which still happens, she's going to be culturally relevant long after she's dead. The things she's created will be culturally relevant long after she's dead. And what, activists on Twitter say shouldn't prevent her from being allowed to attend her own movie premiere. And I'm glad that at the very least the studio didn't tell her not to come, but it annoys me that she didn't do Johnny Depp the same courtesy and allow him to be in the movie. Because I would say his case is even less... It is just as unknown to normal people. Normal people just see Johnny Depp. They don't know crap about what happened between him and Amber Heard. So
Amber Heard stuff, again, I can't even go into it because it's just so fascinating and so, tragic in a lot of ways. But, J.K. Rowling, I think the thing is, people want to condemn her for what she's doing, but there are enough people in the world who feel similarly to her. And what I'm referring to with what she's doing is that she's pretty active about, she got dubbed a trans exclusionary radical feminist because she, the example tweet in here is that she tweeted, people who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for these people. Someone help me out. Because you're not supposed to use gendered language. It comes back, I'm sure your audience has heard of, the birthing people line.
Yes.
People feel like you should just say women because women are the people who give birth, but that is considered exclusive or insensitive to people who identify as transgender. I think you can't totally delete or cancel J.K. Rowling because she is, like you said, super culture relevant, but also because there is a large enough portion of the global population that does agree with her. So totally canceling her would also be to cancel a large portion of your revenue stream.
It also helps that she still owns most of she was the last really great contract negotiation in that genre, in that space. Every contract after she achieved this level of success is based around what the studio or what the book publishing company wants, not what the writer wants. She was very smart to hold on to the rights. Like I said, she had, like, from what I understand, full creative control over casting for the movies. Like, she could nix anyone, and so everyone that's in that movie got her personal stamp of approval. So she was very smart and business savvy. So good to see, but it bugs me that that Johnny Depp was not afforded the same courage.
We should do a Johnny Depp episode. That'd be great.
We should.
Yeah.
That's just, like I said, that's just one of those ones where we tried to cover it one day, and I got into it, and we got into, like, the text that Paul Bettany and him exchanged about Amber Heard.
Well, Johnny Depp's, like, current thing is that he, as part of his defamation suit for Amber Heard, he gets to probe whether her child, which I think was born via surrogate, is actually her child with Elon Musk.
No, I didn't know that.
Because there's an idea that Elon Musk funded some of the legal stuff that she brought against him.
Ooh, that's.
I mean, it's really deeply, deeply fascinating what's going on there, and it's complicated in a lot of cultural issues too, like ideas of domestic violence and can men be a victim of domestic violence, and also like defamation, divorce cases. Like, it is deeply fascinating, and you're totally right. There are YouTube channels completely devoted to this because I think no one expected it to the narrative surrounding his relationship with Amber Heard. As soon as it started to go under a microscope, people were really like, oh, wait, I think we might have said the wrong thing for siding with.
Miracle, do you care at all about what happens with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp?
I kind of wish Johnny Depp had his own renaissance, and then Amber Heard, like, why is she still getting these roles?
It would make sense if she was, like, a really, really gifted actress, but she's not. She's not. A very average to below average actress who just happens to be quite beautiful. So that says a lot about where culture is.
And is well connected.
And is very well connected.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. This is, like I said, maybe we will do, like, maybe the next big announcement or in that trial or something we'll cover, and you can. I
would love to.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do that.
Because it's something I didn't seriously give a lot of thought to. Celebrities getting divorced, and I had heard some of the allegations, but I think I was sick or something and fell down like a YouTube and like article hole about it, and it is just more complicated than people give it credit for. And
don't let Amber Heard, don't leave her alone on your bed. Don't do it.
There's a lot of stuff you do, but it does come down to defamation, which is a reoccurring issue as we become more and more the lines of public versus private become more and more blurred.
As you live your life in social media and in the public square.
Yeah, and like defamation suits get brought against all kinds of things. So like people bring defamation suits against the New York Times, like James O'Keefe just did. People bring defamation suits against other people. Can you sue someone who's anonymous on Twitter for defamation, like we saw with Justin Bieber? Like defamation is a major issue in our country. I think we'll see a lot of important legislation, or at least pivotal legislation, come out about it. And that's why I think it's worth following the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for coming today. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was everything. That went quite quickly, actually. Most of it was just me crying about James Bond, but that's okay.
I want to hear like how... I'm curious to see how people who watch the show or people who are interested in James Bond respond to it. Because, again, I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think you're asking for ice cream when they're a candy store.
Hey, you could be right. I could be wrong. I will be willing.
We could both be right. It's the actual reality.
If this show comes out and it's the greatest reality TV show, if it is reality TV crack cocaine and it's like the greatest thing ever, and I go binge it, I will swallow my pride and tell you that you're right.
You won't shut yourself in your room and never admit it to us?
I might.
It's okay. I'll just knock on his door and then open it and go like, I knew it.
He'll just like wait, and then like 5 years from now he'll be like, oh yeah, I saw that series. Like, no big deal.
I mean, it was all right.
I watched all of it in 24 hours, but it's just fine.
We will see about that. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.